Hello everyone, my name is Sean Maloney. I'm a Gold Director Elite 3 with Karatbars, and I'm going live on Team 113 to give you an overview of the latest information we have from Karatbars and the associated ecosystem that it operates under. It's basically an entire ecosystem. It's a financial ecosystem designed to help you build and preserve wealth and expand your income. Okay, very, very important concept. It's something we're very proud to be helping many thousands of people all over the world to understand in the first instance, and then to operate with under their own steam to start creating financial choice and hopefully freedom in their life as they go forward. So the time is now. It's all about taking control of your financial future. Okay, that's the objective here of the Karatbars initiative. And you'll hear me throughout this presentation talk about four main areas. Okay, we're talking about generation of income, we're talking about accumulation of assets, we're talking about wealth preservation, which is absolutely key and often completely overlooked as people don't understand the devaluing nature of their fiat currency. So wealth preservation is absolutely crucial. And last but not least is the protection of your privacy. And increased security. We'll touch on some of those aspects as well as we talk about how Karatbars is disrupting not only the financial world, but also the world of communications and broader technology. Ultimately, though, you can start all this off with a simple click to open a free account, just as the way you would open a bank account or some other financial instrument account. You can set up your Karatbars account completely for free, so that you can start the process of accessing these four areas and ultimately take control of your financial future. So who is Karatbars? Well, Karatbars has been around since 2011. It was founded many years ago now, nearly 10 years ago. It's been very successful in those 10 years, and it was founded as a direct result of many of the challenges that people found themselves in with the 2008 crash. So Karatbars came from that period of time, and it's expanded now into over 140 countries and touching on actually 1 million affiliates worldwide now, affiliates and partners, in terms of people who are associated with this project and creating income streams, creating wealth based on gold, and creating asset opportunity inside various facets of how this company's evolved, including now the blockchain. Offices all over the world, very important. It's diversified across the globe, in Europe, down in the subcontinents, and over in Southeast Asia, but many active affiliates on every single continent of the planet, which is very important in terms of how this company is now set to move forward and become an established name in global consumers and economics. It's all down to this gentleman here. This is Harold Seitz. He set the company up back in 2011, as I have said, and he's a visionary, an absolute visionary. He makes sure that he puts as much gold as possible, as he terms it, into the middle classes. He wants everybody in the middle class to own as much gold as possible, so that they can secure their futures. His statement is very clear on that. I promise that Karatbars and Gold Standard Bank will continue promoting and defending the financial freedom and security of every human being independently and in a decentralized manner. Our future is unlimitedly digital. It rests on a solid foundation of pure gold at the same time. That just about sums up exactly what you're going to hear over the next few minutes, because it's all about creating a foundation in your financial life and future based on gold, and then utilizing that and leveraging that position to be able to liquidate, living life, frankly, inside the decentralized nature of digital blockchain technology. It's very clever. It's very powerful. The mission is quite simple: to bring pure gold to all the people that will provide a debt solution. Okay, if you understand gold, you can start to understand, first of all, why you may be in debt, and certainly why countries, authorities, companies, all sorts of entities are in debt. Is because they are wholly reliant on something called a fiat system, F-I-A-T. So we're looking to help millions of people to find financial freedom, help people into the digital finance world to prepare for their future and the future. We combine the very best of both worlds, a bright future based on digital technologies and the solid foundation of pure gold. Very, very special indeed. So why gold? What's the big deal about gold, and why is it so important to understand gold? Well, this is the premise that you should study for yourself and understand for yourself before you take too many steps into the Karatbars project. Obviously, you can set up your free account, no problem at all. You can access our communities, you can speak to like-minded people, you can edify and validate that many of us have leveraged this platform to create what we have. But most importantly, you need to understand for yourself why you should be owning gold. And it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you understand monetary history, you start to realize that gold has been a recurring base currency for trade for well over 2,500 years. It's something that has always been a value proposition that human beings have gone back to. Persians first minted gold coins as far back as the 6th century. They understood the rarity and the fungibility and the exchangeability of gold and its ability to preserve purchasing power, because it holds itself as a weight rather than necessarily being something that can be infinite, printed to infinity like we have with fiat money at the moment. In 1873, the USA established the gold standard, and the dollar was paired and backed by gold for many, many, many years. That was until we came to 1971, which is now about 49 years ago. Many of you may recognize this gentleman. He came under a huge amount of pressure because of factors that took place after both world wars and then through something called Bretton Woods. The global economies tried to maintain a level standard, and they used gold for that. But the challenges of the American dollar basically helping the rest of the world recover after the Second World War meant that there was an imbalance in how the economies of the world were positioned. So in order to protect America from having a run on its own gold reserves at that point, they decided to temporarily take the dollar off the gold standard and install the dollar as the world reserve currency. Okay, and it's ever since then that we've had a free-floating fiat system, which is what we still live in today. Yeah, and that's given the world the ability to print money or print currency actually into infinitum, which is exactly why now we see uncontrollable inflation, which has the net effect of causing I call it a death by 1,000 cuts to normal individuals all over the world now, millions and millions of people, if not billions of people, who can't possibly keep up in exchanging time for money with what it is to live a prosperous life. Okay, so this all started many, many years ago, and to understand this means that you understand why you should protect yourself in gold and protect your future purchasing power in gold because of this particular maneuver that happened nearly 50 years ago. And it manifests itself very clearly. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that over the years, you can actually buy less stuff with the same amount of currency in terms of what we represent currency as. So in this particular example, we're looking at a $20 bill. Many, many years ago now, maybe not so many years ago actually, but 20 odd years ago, you could buy a reasonable amount of stuff for $20, okay, or 20 euros, or 20 pounds, or any currency. But remember, all currencies, or most currencies of the world, are based on the free-floating fiat dollar as the main standard. So over time, though, because of the devaluing nature of currency, not so much because prices are increasing, but mainly because they're putting more and more currency into the system. So you have more supply on demand, therefore you'll end up with a lower value. And over time, right up until the present day, you can see that that $20 bill now is actually buying you less and less stuff because, frankly, of its devalued currency purchasing power, not necessarily because of increased prices. So it's something you need to understand. And inflation is one thing, stated inflation is one thing, and that's a barometer that everybody uses, the governments, the companies, the banking systems, etc., around 2% a year. But hidden inflation is driven by the devaluing nature of fiat currency itself. So both sets of inflation are actually impacting your life, and that's why you need to understand how to remedy that. And one of the best ways to do that is obviously with gold. This slide really drives it home, actually. It takes it over a much longer time frame, but the point still stands that basically back in 1920, you could have purchased a brand new Ford motor vehicle, and it would have cost you around $645 at that point, okay? As it happened back in 1920, a kilogram of gold was about $645 as well, okay? So basically you could have purchased that car for a kilogram of gold, as well as $645 in fiat. Fast forward to today, and a new Ford motor vehicle will cost you around $40,000. As it happens, 1 kilogram of gold is around that price point as well today. So the point of this slide is to demonstrate that gold has absolute price stability. A kilogram of gold is a kilogram of gold. But clearly there's a big difference between $645 and $40,000. So it's important that you understand that you're holding your purchasing power. You're putting your energy today into a time capsule that will protect your future, because this continues, it doesn't end. The nature of gold, it must increase in its fiat value because fiat falls in its purchasing power. So you're freezing your energy today into something that will increase in its purchasing power in the future by owning gold. That's the basic premise. And it's not just us talking about this, believe you me, there are many, many people out there, and it's unfortunately, it's not taught in schools. Many parents don't understand this. You get generation after generation after generation only being taught the work on the left-hand side of the cash flow quadrant. This is a book that you would do well to read. It's actually by Robert Kiyosaki himself. And most people only understand to work on the left-hand side of the quadrant as employed or self-employed. They either own a job or they have a job. If you understand what it is to start creating assets in your life, then you realize how you can start to move right on the cash flow quadrant, okay? Particularly into the investor side of the cash flow quadrant, which is where money's working for you, which is exactly what gold does. Or, as we'll talk about as we go through this presentation, you can actually hardwire yourself into the B side of the cash flow quadrant, which is when you have a business system working for you, a team working for you, other people working for you, okay? And if you can combine those two factors, in other words, create cash flow because you're helping other people understand the premise of protecting their future, and you accumulate gold at the same time and other gold-backed digital assets, then you'll realize that you actually can have both a business system and money working for you at the same time. Now, these guys are very clear about that, and always have been, but it's not something you'll widely hear in the mass media or in the education system or even by friends and family, because it's not conducive to how society currently runs. It's conducive to society to have people working and exchanging time for money and paying taxes, obviously, to fund society. Nothing wrong with that, but what you can do at the same time as contributing to society is make sure you're looking after yourself and your future and helping other people to do the same, okay? Because you don't want to be chasing income well into your 70s the way the current system is encouraging us to do so. So this is very important. Basically, whoever owns gold always has money. So you've got to understand the separation between currency and money. And that's something you'll need to go away and do some studying on yourself. And we can help you with that when you join in with our communities. Just join up for a free account and we can help you immediately with the information about what it is, the differences between currency and money. And then owning gold as an absolute prerequisite from the very beginning. From day one, you start to own gold and you immediately feel like you're getting into more control because you're holding your purchasing power just the way that Alan Greenspan explains there. So what does it look like on the ground then? When you actually sign up for your free account with Karatbars, you are automatically basically creating yourself a gold bank account, okay? And it enables you to start exchanging, devaluing fiat currency in the way we've been explaining into inflation-proof gold, which is, there's no counterparty risk with gold. It's always in demand. There's a limited supply. It is often compared to fiat in price form, and as fiat falls in value, then gold obviously rises in value. That if you look at the gold charts over the past 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you'll see exactly how that works. So it's a case of getting hold of gold. But gold for many people feels expensive. It feels out of reach. It feels that it's not something they can get their hands on. But the point of Karatbars, and it's been doing this since 2011, is to make it very easy for people to get their hands on gold. And the way it does that is to break down gold into small denominations as small as 0.1 gram. Okay, so around $5 today. That's very affordable, okay, for many, many people. So the thing with this is to get into the habit of owning gold rather than looking at gold as something that you can't possibly afford. And we call it paying yourself first. Another book you might want to read is The Richest Man in Babylon, that teaches us, and again, it's a 5,000-year-old lesson that seems to be forgotten every few generations, but to pay yourself first is the way to get ahead. It's not to keep chasing income. And paying yourself first in gold means that you're not just converting yourself into financial control, you're also leveraging an asset that will always pay you back. Okay, so cash gold is something we use to make gold affordable to hundreds of thousands of people all over the world. So it's very straightforward. You know, if you understand gold and you feel this has been worthwhile to you and useful just at this level, you know, we're going to go into a little bit more detail now, but even at this level, if you feel that this has struck a chord and you feel you should be taking in a regular routine every month to convert some of your currency into money, into gold, then you simply sign up for a free Karatbars account, and that ordains you with the immediate ability to go ahead and purchase gold inside the system. Many of us accrue gold over time, and then we have it delivered, or we leave it in storage, which is free with Karatbars. You know what you're buying with Karatbars because it's fully assayed. It's 999.9924 karat gold bullion. It's high quality. It's bank grade quality. You can trust it. There's videos all over the internet that will show you people taking Karatbars gold into various bullion dealers and it being tested and shown to be pure. This is what you need. This is the confidence you need. If you're going to start converting currency into gold, you want to know that that gold at some point in the future can be converted back so that you can spend it to live your life, having spent many, many years having gold work for you. So to do that, you can do that in two ways. You become a simple customer. You know, you're like a bank. You just join it like a bank customer. Or, as we're going to talk about now, you can start to maneuver yourself into helping other people understand some of these premises that I've been speaking about right now, and you can affiliate yourself with the organization. You can become a partner to help other people understand how to create financial choice and financial freedom. So you have a choice there of becoming a customer or an affiliate. Entirely up to you. Speak to whoever's shown you this video, and they will give you the link so you can go ahead and set up either as a customer or as an affiliate. Now, the next part of this video, we will move into something now much more sophisticated, because what we're doing with Karatbars, and what we've done over some years now, is we've learned that, yes, to have the premise of physical gold is very important. We call it the bird in the hand. It's important to own gold. Of course it is. Hopefully that's been made clear over the past few minutes. But gold isn't easy to spend, okay? Gold isn't something that's very liquid. It's not something you can suddenly go out there and live life with. So what if you could take your gold underwriting, the gold asset base, your own personal balance sheet, and what if you could start to leverage that in ways that you could go out there and actually spend to live life? So we call this being your own bank. Okay, so rather than necessarily chasing income, waiting for your boss to pay you, you know, paying down what you need to pay down to get a net wage, and then go ahead and live off what you possibly can and save up what you possibly can and keep doing that every month. If you own gold, you can start to accrue value by having the asset work for you, and then start to use that gain to go and live life. Okay, it's what you do in business. You own an asset base and you put those assets to work, and then you live off the gain. That's very much what you're able to do if you start to combine physical gold with something called the blockchain, and it manifests itself inside the Karatbars ecosystem in a very special coin called KBC. Okay, let me explain how that works in terms of us innovating into this new digital era on top of what we already have with physical gold. So basically, I'll give you a little bit of a history on blockchain and how it all connects, and then we'll show you how that then is used to leverage what I've described. So back in 2008, many of you may have heard this, that blockchain was brought to the world, into the masses, I should say. Blockchain's been around for a while, but it was brought to the masses by a very clever individual, a group of individuals we don't know, who devised basically an algorithm, a computer setup that allowed us to look at digital payment schedule, but on a decentralized peer-to-peer basis, rather than necessarily being centralized in central banks, central government, central authority. It's basically a decentralized means of exchange as opposed to a centralized means of exchange. And it manifests itself in something called Bitcoin. That was the very, very first experiment they did. They called it Bitcoin. And the very famous story is that somebody bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoins. And if you understand what Bitcoin is worth today, then you'll realize the relevance of that. But basically, since Bitcoin and other newly developed cryptocurrencies, the world of finance started to change. Okay? And it started to change quite quickly. It moved from 2008, 9, 10. It was very under the radar. But then certainly over the past 4 or 5 years, since 2016, it's become something much more relevant. Okay? And many people now are involved with it, but Bitcoin or blockchain-based cryptocurrencies themselves are still tiny compared to the global money markets. But it's something that people are starting to take more interest in, and it will start to take even more foothold as we go through the next recessions that are imminent over the next couple of years, unfortunately, because the big centralized establishments have not learned their lessons from 2008 or any recession prior. So we end up in these cycles, and it just means that individuals, people start to vote with their feet. People move, okay? And that's what blockchain represents. It's a peer-to-peer, decentralized. There's no central government or authority managing it. It's impossible to manage. It's decentralized, and people like that. People like the security and the privacy, etc., of being able to hold their own financial circumstances, by becoming financially sovereign, okay? So some of these new cryptocurrencies is what we're part of. So KBC came about, as I've described, as that's the ticker symbol for basically the coin that resides on the blockchain, but also has a link to gold. This is the important thing. There's an awful lot of coins out there that claim to have a link to gold, but ultimately, if they don't have more gold going onto the underwriting in the company, in other words, the bank vaults, then it's very difficult for the coins to grow. But the difference with this ecosystem, as you'll hear, is that it actually creates its own utility and revenue streams that people actually use in real life, such as mobile smartphones. And that creates fees that then go to put more gold underwriting in the bank vaults. Okay, so you get a joint symmetry of growth in gold, physical gold, and also utility of the coin actually being used in real life. And it's all managed on the blockchain. So it's a very special coin, KBC. It launched a couple of years ago now, and it's been through a journey, and it was very successful right from the get-go. It was one of the most successful ICOs, initial coin offerings in blockchain history, with over $100 million raised as part of its startup capital, okay? And many of us were privileged to be involved with that because we spotted how powerful this coin could be, yeah? So KBC is as well as its growth, is based on gold, as I've described, from the Gold Standard's own global mining network. So as I said earlier, this isn't just about having an amount of gold and then putting coins on top of the fixed supply and then hoping that will accrue value through speculation and coin demand because of it being a financial product. It's also able to create momentum and create utility, which goes back then to bring more gold out of the gold mining network that this company also owns. So it's a cradle to grave organization that owns everything from the hole in the ground, where gold comes from, all the way through to things as sophisticated as smartphones and laptops and banking services. KBC is running on our own blockchain as we speak. It's been doing that since September 2019, which then gives it a whole new level of gravitas. Rather than being an ERC20 token or running on somebody else's network, we now run our own network, and that network is called KaratNet. So this whole thing now is coming to a place where it's solid, it's held in its own momentum, and it's able to provide utility because of its customer-facing functions. If you look at any of the top 20 coins, by the way, on CoinMarketCap, and go and have a good study of them, even Bitcoin, and try and see which of them actually have a real-world use case rather than just being speculative, you'll find it very difficult to see which one of those have actually really generated their own utility. With KBC, you only have to take one look at what I'm going to show you next to see that the utility is being brought to the coin. We're not waiting for the world to wake up. We're putting the utility to the coin, which creates the revenues, which creates the fees, which creates more gold backing from our own gold standard global mining network. Okay, that is a win-win. So gold, blockchain, and KBC, the future of money. That's how we look at it. It's about making sure that individuals understand why they should own their own peer-to-peer decentralized means of exchange, and why they shouldn't be 100% reliant on bosses, banks, and governments inside the fiat system. The majority of people in the world have no bank accounts as well. This is a big number. About 3 billion people in the world have no bank accounts. So there's another element to this that's philanthropy, you know, to help people to start to move into a space of self-governance. But they do on smartphones and have internet access. So it's very important and very interesting. You can start to give people access to their own banking systems inside their own villages and communities based on the blockchain that has a firm value. It's actually based on something, which is gold. Using Karatbars solution, they can open a KaratPay account, which is very simple to do. We'll touch on that in a minute. They can leverage inside KaratBit wallets, which is where we have security and we hold the assets for people. Digital gold and crypto transfers globally for less without third parties involved. So in other words, they don't need permission. You don't need permission. Nobody needs to give you permission to be able to create wealth or earn currency for your time and then put it into an institution with permission. What you're able to do with blockchain is take that over under your own gift. You become 100% financially sovereign. What you need, though, is the tools to do that, and a trusted network and a trusted position to be able to do that. And that's what Karatbars represents. Using Karatbars solutions, everyone can earn money and save gold for security today and well into the future based on some of the things I've been talking about. With the Karatbars ecosystem, merchants can sell their goods and services through KaratGold and cryptos. We'll talk about K-Merchant in 1 second, which allows you to transfer your digital assets based on gold into the purchase of goods and services with consumers and with retailers that actually use this system. Very, very special. It's a complete closed loop ecosystem. And it basically looks like this. This is what we call the Karatbars universe. This is a big high level overview of the Karatbars ecosystem as it stands today. Right in the middle there is something called the Karatbars International universe, and it's basically a sphere where all these different parts constitute a value proposition. And it's that value proposition that creates real life use cases and real life utilities. So I'll be going through a number of these in 1 second just to give you a feel for that, because ultimately when people use functions such as phones and laptops and K-Merchant payment gateways and KaratGold exchange machines, they're actually using things that are real in life, the real value to people in real life and businesses in real life. And when they're used, revenues are generated that create fees, and those fees go back to underpin this whole universe in terms of gold itself. Okay, so there's always a base value to what's going on with this ecosystem, and it doesn't stop though just relying on gold. It continually creates value like any business would by giving value to marketplaces. All that's managed on something called the KaratNet, which is absolutely crucial. As I said earlier, it's great. There's lots and lots of coins out there. There's over 4,000 coins now on coinmarketcap.com. But a great many of them do not have their own blockchain technology function. They're based on other functions, such as Ethereum, ERC20, smart contracts, which is great, but it's not as secure or as reliable as having your own blockchain. So this has been live since September 2019, and already and this has happened in just less than 24 months. The K1 Impulse, the WIM laptops, the KaratNet blockchain, the K-Merchant all operate on this blockchain. This is already in place. Okay, so that is, even as early as this, I'm recording this in January 2020, even as early as this, we're starting to see now momentum coming through because of the actual use of this blockchain and therefore its coin. And if you're a coin holder, it's those uses that will create the value in your coin. If you're not a coin holder, then there's ways we're going to give you access to make sure you are. And this is all part of your journey into asset ownership, moving right, hardwiring yourself into the investor quadrant, hardwiring yourself into the business system owner quadrant, and having businesses and assets work for you, not just being 100% reliant on your wages. So let me just talk to you in some detail about some of these key aspects that you saw there in the Karatbars universe. The first and very important one is something called Karat Pay, because this is basically a function that allows us to transfer payment, literally exchange of payment in gold electronically. Okay, so it's a case of making sure that we can obviously use real gold and have it something that's fully tangible and real in our hands, and be able to take this then to transact in real life. Okay, so that's the purpose of KaratGold. Okay, so you simply open a Karat Pay account. Again, it's completely free. It's a function of the gold account, and you can send real gold through the network in real time. So right now, I could send physical gold to you over Karat Pay, and you could bring that out as physical gold. That's as simple as that. Okay, and it's a case of accruing that gold into your life, using not just you directly exchanging fiat, but also working that with other people. You may, for example, have some services and products that you have of value to other people. Well, now you can have them pay you in gold rather than just necessarily paying you in only devaluing fiat currency. You're getting paid in assets that automatically increase in value, which maybe mean you can create an exit plan quicker in your business, or you can get to the point where you don't have to exchange time for money sooner. In other words, something called retirement. These are all things you do if you start taking payment in things like KaratGold through Karat Pay. Karat Pay is an area whereby you can leverage and basically reposition things like KaratGold and KBC and Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other digital assets. You can leverage them. So Karat Pay is where we exchange things. It facilitates the exchange of KaratGold into fiat currencies, KBC into a Bitcoin, Bitcoin into KaratGold. It has a multifunctional, rotational function. That's its purpose. It's an exchange. It literally means you're exchanging one asset for the other. CEMs are where we bring and actually manifest physical gold into our hands. So this is whereby you can take a digital position. Okay, you can take Bitcoin and convert that into KBC, for example, and then some of that KBC can be converted into KaratGold. And you take a QR code to these machines, and you're able to scan the QR code into the system. It will reduce the KBC from your Karat Pay account, and it will physically present you with a piece of gold out of the front of this machine. Okay, so it's a very, very special way of people actively being able to get hold of physical gold in their own communities. Many thousands of these machines are going out as we speak, and everything's been set up to make sure that we have that complete closed loop between digital assets and physical gold assets. Equally special is something called K-Merchant. I've touched on it already, but K-Merchant is what we call a gateway product. So, for example, yes, you can use Karat Pay to exchange and have people who have physical gold. Maybe they've got hold of some KaratGold through a CEM, and they come into your store and they want to pay you with physical gold. That's fantastic, and that's what they can do through Karat Pay. Or you can now also use something called K-Merchant, which is very similar. The difference being that they're paying you in an equivalent value in KaratGold or gold itself, but with regards to a blockchain-based exchange. So if those of you who understand blockchain payments or Bitcoin payments or Ethereum payments or KBC payments, you'll know that you have wallets, you have private wallets on your phone or on your devices, and you raise a QR code, which is raised by definition of the coins that you hold on your wallet, that QR code is then securely presented to a system such as KMerchant, and KMerchant extracts those digital assets into itself to pay the vendor for the goods and services that you want to buy. So you're immediately able to transact over the blockchain to live life, frankly. Now, KMerchant is very special for a number of different reasons. It has a double-edged benefit. It's a global crypto payment acceptance system, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and KBC right now, KBC being the gold-backed cryptocurrency we're talking about. There's no risk to the merchant at all. Okay, there are no fees at the moment for this thing. It's something that can be free to install, and there were no transaction fees to the vendor. Okay, instant conversion on each transaction, so it's very low risk. One of the reasons that people don't like using Bitcoin, you'll get in the odd establishment, we accept Bitcoin here, but one of the reasons people don't like to accept Bitcoin is because it can be slow, and it most definitely can fluctuate because of the speculative nature of it, because it's not found its utility. Therefore, there's a lot of speculators in Bitcoin, which causes the price to move around quite drastically over short periods of time. And it's that movement that KMerchant protects people from, because the conversion is instant, and it also means that the Gold Standard Bank and Karatbars underwrites the value. So if I buy a cup of coffee for $5 and I buy that in Bitcoin, then the vendor is guaranteed to get $5 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, so it can pay its suppliers and it's pay its staff in fiat as we transition the world into this way of decentralized payment. So that's very important. So the risk is zero for the merchant in cost and in fluctuation of assets. If they decide to say cash out of Bitcoin to pay for things, it will be fixed at the price that they exchanged a cup of coffee for at the point of purchase. The settling, you can settle in fiat or crypto. In terms of what you want to do with the back end of this thing, you can convert your crypto into your business bank account and create therefore fiat, or you can put the crypto into your designated business wallet. There's no fees or transactions to merchants. Okay, very, very important. $200 per year admin fee after 6 months of use. So then from when you install this program into your retail establishment, you get 6 months of free use without any fees. No chargebacks, which is a big deal. Many smaller businesses struggle with chargebacks. So that when using Visa or MasterCard or other credit cards, they can quickly see that their expected income is not quite as much as they thought it was going to be, because customers have cancelled orders and things have changed. With this, because it's decentralized, peer-to-peer, then if the customer wants to get a refund, they'll have to come back to your store to get a refund, and that will be done again through wallet-to-wallet exchange on the blockchain. So there's no chargebacks hidden behind the scenes with this payment system. And crucially, the double-edged side of this is that it's not just great for merchants, it's also great if you operate as an affiliate inside the Karatbars Gold Standard Bank ecosystem, because if you present this, as I've just done there, to businesses inside your community, then you take the privilege of being an owner of a fee-based commission, a residual income. So every time the retailer sells something through KMerchant, you've referred to them and you've helped them set up, and you've supported them, and you've given them all the help to be able to train the staff and all the things you would expect you should be doing as an affiliate. Then for that, you get a perpetual income of 1% on every single transaction that company makes using KMerchant. Incredibly powerful means of income for professional affiliates that understand this ecosystem. The next one we'll talk about is the phone. The K1 Impulse phone is an incredible device. I have one in my hand right now. These things are being delivered out across the world as we speak in January 2020. And frankly, they represent the pinnacle of what it is to create utility inside a blockchain ecosystem that's backed by gold, and all payments are made in KBC. So thousands of people now pay for the phone to be used. Okay, it's a very special phone because it's not just able to be used with a usual SIM card over a usual network. It's also able to function on the blockchain. It's called voice over blockchain, VOBP. Okay, it's one of the world's first phones to ever do this. It's end-to-end encrypted, which means it's very, very secure and very, very private. The nature of the blockchain is that it's unhackable. It's impossible to hack the blockchain. It's possible for people to give away the passcodes and give away the 2FAs and give away the keys to get their own accounts hacked, but it's not possible to hack the blockchain itself, which basically means if you stay secure and keep yourself secure, then all your conversations, all your data, all your information, all your contact lists, all your emails, all your phone calls will be 100% secure and private. And that is the beauty of the K1 Impulse phone. So you'll notice at the moment a lot of hoo-ha on the media about companies like Huawei. This is interesting because there's clearly some mistrust between global governments and the way that these Chinese companies are coming in setting up things like 5G. But if you're concerned about that, then don't feel like you've no choice to work inside 4G, 5G that are actually owned by these big corporations and governments are doing deals with them to fund the infrastructure. Step aside, just as the way you can with gold and now blockchain technology. You can step aside from fiat. You're able to step aside also now in how you communicate and exchange information with people. Nobody has the right, and particularly any government, to understand what you choose to do in your life. Yeah. So you're able now to do that with regards to conversations that can take place over the blockchain. It also works with normal Wi-Fi and 4G connectivity. Obviously, it needs to. The blockchain resides on the internet. You have to be connected to the internet to use the blockchain. Hopefully, that goes without saying. It's an Android-based system with a built-in wallet. Okay, very, very important. It's also a hard wallet, so it's an offline wallet that you can have a little key that sits in the bottom of the device. That means you can take your assets off the internet completely. It's very, very important for those of you who understand the blockchain. And it's very, very easy to transfer digital gold or cryptocurrencies in the way we've just been describing with KaratGold and KaratPay and K-Merchant and the various functions of this ecosystem. You can do this with one phone in your hand, which makes it very powerful, as we said earlier, for the 3 billion people that are unbanked on the planet, because they can basically walk around with their own bank. They don't need the permission now to work with these big banks that have shut them out for many, many decades. So the phone is very powerful, and it's one of the main drivers of the KBC value, okay, for those of you who are already KBC asset owners. It comes in a sleek box. It's a very, very well-made product, frankly. It's well up there with Samsung and Apple and everything else. They've spent a lot of time on this. It comes in 3 different colors at the moment. You can see the keys I've been talking about there on the bottom right. These are your offline hard wallet keys, and these enable you to take your assets, digital assets that are based on gold, off the system completely so that you've got no chance of being hacked. Very similar to the K1 Impulse phone is actually the laptop. Some of the big differences obviously with this is that it has much more functionality, including being able to do things like email, etc. over the blockchain. Okay, and again, these are all services that we pay for using KBC, which creates in a situation where you don't just own the phone, also own a part in the network. So it's a bit like you owning an Apple phone, and Apple providing you a share stock, and you using Vodafone over the Apple phone, and Vodafone offering you a share stock. With this, you own the phone, you own the share stocks because you own the coins, and you're able, every time you use that phone, to contribute to the value of your own asset base. Exactly the same with the WIM laptop. The laptop gives you all sorts of means of exchange. It operates as a CEM itself. In other words, you can trade KaratGold from the laptop itself using the same software system in the back end based on the KaratNet blockchain. You can interchange your key, your cold storage key there, that little triangle there. It's fingerprint and Face ID with a special product called WormGuard, which gives you even more security and privacy and control. Yeah, the world is full now of people out there to try and hack your accounts, to get into your internet, get into your Wi-Fi, and try and remove data and remove even money from your life. With this type of technology, you've got that lockdown under your control because of the nature of the blockchain. Very nice looking piece of kit. These things start to be, well, we've ordered them already. These things start to be shipped towards the end of springtime, 2020, March, April time. So as an overall view, then we're able to pull together all these various different customer-facing products, CEMs, phones, laptops, payment gateways, exchanges. And this basically, all the fees represent a source of income to feed continually the increase of the gold base of the KBC coin. That's the trick, that's the magic. This isn't just waiting for speculators and hoping coins increase and hoping something happens. We're actually creating the utility to make it happen. And then fees come through as a result of that. And a proportion of those fees go back to bring more gold out of the Gold Standard Bank's global gold mining network. And that is where you see the gold come into its own. More gold becomes available, more gold can be distributed, more revenues get driven because of people see the value proposition, more people get involved. At the moment, it's barely 1 million people who are aware of this project. We anticipate that to go to 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 million, 100 million people, because people will see, particularly as we go through a next economic crash, the value of everything I've just been explaining on this project. So getting in now is very smart indeed. And again, you do that simply by registering for free. Okay, so to reiterate, it's very, very simple. You take the affiliate link that any person who shared this video will be happy to give you, and you make the decision. You can either come in as a customer and take advantage of all the things I've just been talking about, decentralize your life, get involved with gold, accrue assets that work for you, move right on the cash flow quadrant, create passive income from assets, gold and digital form, and take control. And don't just be 100% reliant on bosses, banks, governments, pensions, all the things that you're currently maybe 100% reliant on, especially inside a fiat system. Go ahead and create your own financial destiny. Equally importantly, though, in my humble opinion, you can also, as well as doing all that, take your place in helping other people understand what I've been explaining to you today. Very important. And if you're able to do that, then you're able to also create a income. In fact, more than one income. You're able to create multiple incomes, as I'll explain shortly, with regards to you affiliating for this product, being a partner in helping us take this very, very powerful product model to the world. And you simply click affiliate to do that and put in your credentials to create not only just a free account, but also a business account. Because ultimately what we're doing here, guys, is we're moving to a place where we want to put as many of these products into people's hands as possible. If you think about it logically, it's a clever thing, it's a smart thing for us to share these very powerful products with people on the premise of why they should own gold, on the premise of privacy and security. Because the more people who are actively using these products, the more KBC gets used inside the ecosystem, and therefore demand goes over supply. And then you can understand what happens to your asset base. That then gives you financial choice, which then creates ultimately financial freedom. So as a Karatbars affiliate, you can basically get hold of all these products for free. We help people to convert what we call sweat equity, or energy and time and effort, into actual products and assets that they own. It really is as simple as that. As a customer, you can come in, you can buy up these products, you can buy gold, you can buy into KBC, you can do all those things, and that's fine. But ultimately, you may as well also have a look at how you can spend time and energy to accrue these products and assets into your life and create lifetime streams of income. That is the money shot, literally. You're able to create lifetime streams of income. Very, very special indeed. So this is really what it's about in terms of what we call wave 3. Okay, so this third and final part of this particular presentation is all about what it is for you to take your place in creating mass adoption of this ecosystem into the wider world. We're sitting at just under 1 million customers and affiliates at the moment, and we want to take this through 5, 10, 15, 20 million over the next few years. You can be part of that, and you can be handsomely paid as a result of that, as well as accruing assets and and the physical customer-facing products that I've been talking about for basically for free. You convert your energy into asset and products, and that has the net effect of helping other people do the same, other people do the same, other people do the same. And as more and more people get involved with the ecosystem, the higher the value of those assets that you've accrued become. So the affiliate plan is what we'll talk about next. So let's talk about the affiliate plan overall. There are a number of different facets to it, 7 in total. And I'm going to be touching on just a couple of them today, just to keep this succinct and short, because whoever invited you to this video can give you the real detail. But let me give you just an overview, a synopsis of what they are, and then you can get a feel for how powerful this total system is inside the ecosystem that I've just been talking about. So there's direct income that comes from this. There is residual income that comes from this. There is recurring income that comes from this, and there's passive income that comes from this. And all these 7 aspects here represent one of each of those things. The vast majority of people in normal life will only ever experience direct income. You'll exchange time for money and you'll take a wage. Nothing wrong with that. We all need to contribute to society. We need to do what society needs us to do. But it isn't the only thing you have to do. If you then start to understand what it is to create recurring income, for example, by building a business system, or creating residual income by helping that business system to grow, or creating passive income by taking your place inside assets such as gold and cryptocurrencies, etc., so that they create value over time and you take the gain. That's called a passive income. But all these facets here, all 7 of them, fall into one of those 4 categories, and it's very, very special if you can understand it and master it, and our job is to help you to do that. So the time is very much now. For those of you who've been around for any length of time in life, then recessions will not be a strange phenomenon, and many of you will remember 2008. One of the reasons I'm personally involved with this project is because of the effects 2008 and beyond had on our businesses and our life. And we didn't want to stick around inside a fiat system that was not getting any better and was not being put into a more secure place. In fact, quite the opposite. It's been made more insecure. In fact, we're going through another range of QE4 now. And if you don't know what quantitative easing is, then go away and study that, because you'll realize how detrimental it is to your life. I call it death by 1,000 cuts. So you need to be accumulating assets as quickly as possible. You can create income as a result of helping other people accumulate assets. So it's very special. We're not here, selling the latest CBD oil or the latest vitamin pill or the latest fad or latest holiday. We're here actually helping people to create financial freedom, and that's something very special that millions and millions and millions, if not billions of people all over the world, at the heart of their issues is actually something that's very useful. Yeah, you can preserve your wealth in gold. We've discussed that. You hold in gold, your old energy today is put into gold, which means it will be protected to purchase for you what you need in the future. It won't be a devalued $20 bill. It will still be a piece of gold that's worth more than $20. You can protect your privacy as well. The privacy and security piece is absolutely key, and I think you'll see more and more and more of that coming to the fore in the world as we go through the next few years. And it's time to take control of your future financially and in terms of how you live your life. So we basically boil this down to 3 main areas of income, frankly, and asset position. You've got rewards that come to you in physical gold. This is cash gold that comes into your life as part of your business system. You earn commissions weekly. So we all have what are called the Karatbars MasterCards. So MasterCard and FedEx and all these bigger organizations fully endorse Karatbars, have done for many, many years. And we basically get paid in euros directly onto a MasterCard, a prepaid MasterCard that we use to live life in a normal manner. We use it to buy things and enjoy life. So that's a fantastic thing. It's a fantastic cash flow to have weekly income coming into your life every single Friday. I've been involved with this project for nearly 3 years now, and I've never, ever missed a Friday payday. Okay, very, very special indeed. And more recently now, we've got something called e-points. And these are the hidden secret at the moment of Karatbars. This is something that helps people to manifest a financial choice. in many, many, many ways. Okay, so we've done already quite a lot of talking about gold, and we've talked about KBC and everything else. E-points allow you to start to leverage financial choices inside the ecosystem. E-points are very special indeed. Because frankly, at the moment, we're able to take those e-points and exchange them out for the products. So I mentioned earlier that you can put sweat equity into building a business system, hardwire yourself into the right-hand side, top right of the cash flow quadrant, and create e-points as a result of your effort. E-points are basically at the moment what you use to go ahead and, for example, purchase a K1 Impulse phone, 5,000 e-points. That's about 1,200 euros worth of equipment right there. 8,000 e-points for a WIM computer, 25,000 e-points to have a physical, substantial piece of equipment called a CEM machine in your retail establishment. 25,000 e-points. These things are on the market already for euros and fiat money, but you can earn your way there by accumulating e-points inside your business system to go ahead and plug yourself in to this incredible system as I've described it today. We get paid, so that's e-point acquisition, but we also get paid in various aspects as well, namely fiat and gold, okay? And the way this breaks down is we're able to enhance the speed with which we take access to fiat, gold, and e-point payment, if you will, by creating a business. And we access those businesses through something called multi-packs. And we have various access points. In other words, franchise purchase position. That's basically what you're doing here. You're purchasing a business franchise inside as a part of the ecosystem. It ranges from 285 euro all the way up to 7,500 euro, and it gives you various gains and speed, frankly. So people who really want to push this hard and want to get moving quickly, obviously coming at 3,750 or 7,500 euro level, and they are good to go. They're in business for 12 months or 6 months respectively. They're able to work every single level, and we'll talk about that in a minute, inside the system. In other words, creating residual income from their teams. They get the maximum payouts on the Friday paydays, the dual payouts that come through as they build up units in their dual team. You can see there the units 100 and 200 respectively. They are VIP, which means they're getting the maximum attention and maximum out of the business itself. So a lot of people want to come in really, hard and fast, come in at those levels. For some other people, that might be a big leap. That's a big amount of fiat to place down into the business, particularly when you're starting to understand what this is all about. You've heard it's relatively complex just today, and you will obviously need to listen to this a few times and speak to the person who referred you to this video. But a lot of people come in at the 285 level, and lower, just to get a feel for the ecosystem. But what those people tend to do is understand the power of what we call sweat equity. So they earn their way up. They teach other people, exactly as I'm doing today, what this system is all about, and they earn their way to higher levels of business position. Okay, but remember, you're looking to hardwire yourself into the B side of the cash flow quadrant. You're looking to create a business system and have other people working for you who understand just as much as you do the power of owning gold to protect the purchasing power, and the power of owning digital assets that are already ordained onto utility, which means they will increase in value. So having that explanation in front of people means you can build your business quite quickly, and therefore move through these ranks in terms of your monthly or quarterly or half yearly or annual position inside your business system. That's what the multi-packs do. Before I move on to this next step, I just want to get this disclaimer done, because the numbers and everything else are great, but we're doing everything here possible to make sure that you understand that ultimately it will be down to your own techniques, knowledge, skills, time, ideas, effort, consistency, persistence. All these things will ordain your success. Nothing I can say can create success for you as you build out your business system inside the Karatbars ecosystem. And nothing I can say in terms of what we expect to happen with gold price or coin price or anything like this is relevant. We're not here to advise. We're here to give you a vision of what we are all doing, and many of us have already done, and what's possible if you choose to do the appropriate due diligence, ask the right questions, and get involved for the right reasons. You should be coming into this wanting to build your financial future, not waiting for somebody else to build it for you, as you would if you were relying on a boss, a bank, or government. This is about you taking control. So the disclaimer is there to protect all parties. Because frankly, there's three main ways to create the income on this project. And one of the most powerful is obviously what we call direct income. So the minute you put a product into somebody's hands, a WIM laptop, a phone, gold itself, a CEM, you take a direct commission for that one person. So you are there on the left and you put the phone or one of these direct products into somebody's hands at level 1, you will immediately create a 10% direct income on the value of that product. Okay, and all the price lists and everything else are available in the back office as you register your free account. So 10% on the first level. But you may have a person that you've already brought in on your second level who also sells a phone or a laptop or some gold, and you take 3% of their sale. And further, you may have someone on your third level that you've already brought in that does exactly the same, and you take 2% of that. This is the power of direct income when it comes to the Karatbars project, because you're taking all these incomes from your business system. This is what we call hardwiring your business system into the right side of the quadrant. Direct commissions are incredibly powerful, and they get paid out every Friday onto your Karatbars MasterCard. Dual team is a little bit more nuanced, but it's working in the background all the time, and it's probably the most powerful way of accumulating recurring income into your life with the Karatbars ecosystem. Very, very simply, and the person who brought you here will invite you to hear much more detail on this from other videos and other trainings. But frankly, as you heard me say earlier, you're able to position it to various business ownership levels. Okay, and those business ownership levels from 285 up to 7,500 euro, they give you different access points: bronze, silver, gold, VIP. Okay, and as a different business owner level, you basically take a fiat commission again, paid onto your Karatbars MasterCard every Friday, in various levels from 40 euro all the way up to 80 euro. And the way it simply works is as you build teams, then people are buying different products inside the system, and each of these products have different unit values. So as people on your right are building out sales and products and momentum and demand in this system, then units accrue, and the same on your left team. When you match 50 units with 25 units, so 50 on your right and 25 on your left, 50 on your right, 25 on your left, 75 units, then one of these payments pays out over each week. Okay, so if you're a bronze, that cycle, as we call it, 25 on one side, 50 on the other side, 25 units will create a 40 euro payout. Okay, and if you're a VIP, it will be 80 euro. So it's the same effort, exactly the same energy, and same skill and everything else from you, but you're getting paid 40, paid double. You're getting paid 40 euros more by being a VIP business owner, which is why we help as many people as possible to get to VIP, so they're getting more return for their position. Okay, you also get units for people positioning inside the business packages, which is what you see there, units earned per sale. So if you sell a bronze business package, 3 units, VIP business package, 100 units. Okay, so 100 unit could be 25 cycles if that's on your inside leg, for example. So that will be something that will be explained to you in more detail inside the Gold Standard Bank and Karatbars compensation plan, and the person who brought you here will be very happy to demonstrate this to you, I'm sure, from what they've achieved over their time inside this project. You're able, there's no minimum really, you're able to drive dual payments at 180,000 max per week. So if you're at a position of 180,000 dual cycles, then you're doing very, very well. So there's no real limit to how many cycles you can take per week in this. The units also never flush, by the way. So many network and these types of affiliate model platforms, you'll find you have to requalify every single week or every single month. In this system, these units never flush, they never go away. Once you've earned them, they stay on either leg, and you just have to match them on either leg as you run your business. Now, last but not least, are the matching bonuses. Matching bonuses now take you very much into what we call residual income. Okay, so we spent a bit of time working on direct income. We spent a little bit of time working on recurring income, which are dual team cycles, and you can, once you've set it up, that will recur and recur and recur, and that happens also on a uni level in this system. And there's also other aspects to that whereby recurring income comes in. But residual income comes when you've taken that base position of recurring and then add to it a residual on top because of further activity inside your business. And that manifests itself in something called matching bonuses, as you can see here. You know, you may have worked at one generation, one team, as it were, whereby you're creating different direct sales inside that team of each of these packs, or all the products inside them, everything else, which is what these multi-packs are. But you are also at the same time, as well as building on the linear, you're building laterally, you're building downwards, okay? And the more you increase your business position, the deeper you drill into the activity of the team, not just on the dual system, but crucially on the uni level. And it's in the uni level that you get things going on, because that's just not people you brought in, that can be people other people have brought in your network. So by the time you stack all these things together, and people purchasing all the different products involved, packages that represent, you know, the multi-packs, then you can find yourself creating a significant residual income every single week by definition of working the matching bonuses. So dual team matching bonuses are paid in fiat, and dual team is when your team cycles in the way I described earlier. So when anybody in your downline, in your uni level, creates a matching bonus, then you creates a cycle in their dual team, then you create a matching bonus subject to the business ownership position that you are. Okay, so a VIP, someone down as far as 7 levels from you inside your organization, can create income for you inside the dual system. So if they cycle, you take a 5% benefit of that activity. KaratGold is also something that you matching bonus on these days in this project with regards to the multi-packs. So once you position yourself inside your preferred multi-pack, in other words, you become a business owner, entirely optional by the way, then you are able to also drill down KaratGold, as that is accrued inside your uni-level network. Okay, so that's very special because that's creating KaratGold. Remember earlier we were talking about KaratGold manifesting on KaratPay, and then you've been able to use that for different functions and purposes inside this ecosystem. So we're not just working with fiat here. Fiat's great to have, and obviously we need to live our lives and we get paid in fiat every Friday through the system. But to be paid also in gold, simply by helping other people to understand why they should be paid in gold, locks your energy and effort into that position, as we said earlier. So this matching bonus allows you to get paid in physical gold down 7 levels, up to 7 levels, with regards to your KaratPay account. Again, incredibly powerful if you understand how to hardwire yourself into business system ownership on the right side of the quadrant. Last but not least, e-points. Do not underestimate e-points. Okay, information coming through all the time about e-points. As we sit right now, you're able to convert these points, a bit like air miles, back into you taking ownership of phones, laptops, CEMs, etc. But I do know that there's more information coming through about the power of e-points and how they can basically accelerate your own private balance sheet with regards to the assets you own. Okay, so e-points are equally important to KaratGold payments because they allow you ultimately something called financial choice. There's a big overarching incentive as well that's persisted in this program for many, many, many years and been very successful. And it just gives you that extra bit of motivation if you need it. You know, if you're not motivated enough by taking control of your financial destiny, owning gold that protects your purchasing power, taking yourself outside 100% reliance on bosses, banks and governments, if that's not motivating you enough, then maybe this will give you the extra edge. You can accumulate positions of what we call points inside the uni-level system to be rewarded in anything from a Rolex watch, Mercedes cars, and even a villa, With this organization, you don't just get the allowance, for example, for the car every month, and you've got to keep, you know, working to qualify that. You actually physically get the keys, you get the deeds for the property, you get the certificate for the watch. It's yours. Okay, so that's a very, very important aspect of long-term incentives inside the Karatbars project. Okay, so to wrap up, we're looking at getting paid in assets basically for life. Yeah, you're accumulating assets and you're getting paid for life. Perpetual gold rewards. Voice over blockchain subscriptions will continue to create ongoing recurring income into your life as more and more of your people, more and more of your business, more and more of your teams use phones, use laptops, etc. Use the voice over blockchain as subscribers. Fees from the blockchain and transactions go back in to create more value in this system in the guise of gold. Multi-pack renewals, obviously. People have to renew either monthly, quarterly, half-yearly, or yearly, which means that you're continually getting a cycle of new income coming into your business, and there's much, much more to come. So it's a very, very powerful ecosystem, a very, very powerful product for you to be plugged into if you understand the need to take control of your financial future. So you just have to ask yourself one thing now: where do you sit? Okay, you can join us on this journey of prosperity, increase, and abundance freedom. It's a pure choice, something you can do or you don't do. It's entirely up to you. You got to ask yourself: are you either a Karatbars customer, which is absolutely fine? You set yourself up as a customer just like you set yourself up a bank account. It's a gold bank account whereby you accrue assets in gold and digital form. Ask yourself, are you a number two? Are you a Karatbars affiliate? Do you feel that this would be worthy of you sharing with others? And if you understand, and once you understand it, we help you with that. And once you understand the bigger picture of why you should own gold in your life, then it becomes very difficult not to share this, frankly, because people will see what you're trying to do and they'll see that you're trying to give them options in life. So becoming an affiliate is very, very, very possible. Straight away, you know, register immediately now with the link you'll be getting around this video or by the person who shared it with you. Or number three, if you want more information, that's absolutely fine. We're here to provide you information. We will put you through due diligence. We will make sure you're asking the questions. We'll make sure you don't see this as a get-rich-quick scheme. We'll make sure that you don't see this as something that is, you know, easily done and can be immediately switched on like a light switch. That isn't the case. We're giving you the support and the detail to make informed choices. Every single day of the week, you'll find people inside the Karatbars community helping you with more information, and you're more than welcome to come in and get that information ahead of your next decision. Having said all that, it's free to set up an account, okay? So it's very straightforward, just to simply click the button and get an account for free. Give over your credentials, obviously, because this is a financial product. So you need to make sure that you're the company knows you are a real person, and then you have the choice between a customer and an affiliate. But if you want the information before that, then feel free to reach out to whoever shared this video with you. So thank you very much. That concludes today's session. I appreciate your time very, very much. Like I say, around this video or on the page that you're seeing this video on from a referrer, you'll see information for next steps. It's a very simple click to be able to go forward and set your free account up. I appreciate your time, and we will see you on the next video.